Good morning. Thank you for joining in on Community Coffee. I'm your host, Trina Myers, and I have a special guest with us today. I'm so excited to have no other than Lisa Quimby with us. Lisa's a special guest as I didn't meet her through pageantry. I didn't meet her um, at the local coffee shop. I actually am her older sister. So we grew up together and, shared passion in hair and makeup. And I wouldn't say so much boys. I think we had a different ideal when it came to that. But, I'm just so thrilled to have Lisa here on Community Coffee, where she's going to share some positivity and enlightenment where she lives that actually can help not just where she lives, but across the US. So thank you for joining today, Lisa.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I guess being my older sister, I've told you this time before that you always paved the way for me. So anytime I was nervous about doing anything, I just knew that you went through it first. So I could always ask you for your expertise. So thank you for this. You're going to help ease my nerves and we're going to get through this together.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've just been amazed in watching you and your journey. And, I started doing Facebook Lives a few years ago, and now watching you go through the same journey and seeing you grow has been very inspiring, even from my point of view.
Yeah, and I would say doing Facebook Lives is very nerve-wracking. I've done them before with other companies, but when it's something that you're passionate about and you're having fun, you don't really think of all the nerves anymore when it comes to your passion. So I've enjoyed doing them, and I hope everybody enjoys watching them.
As much as fun as we enjoy hosting them, right?
Right.
So, Lisa, you and I are living in completely different states. I'm back in Iowa. And where are you?
I am currently in North Carolina. And I
Now,
say currently because, but others may not know. I have lived a military life almost all of my life. And this is where my husband has now taken us. We actually started the journey here as a married couple and ended here. So he's recently retired. And we have my youngest son who is still in high school. So we're going to just plant our feet here for now and then see where it takes us. So currently in North Carolina.
yeah. And so Lisa also graduated high school here in Iowa. And then her husband graduated just right across the river from us. So he's also from this local community in the metro Iowa area. So you have traveled many, many places. Where has been your favorite place that you've traveled?
You know, there is one saying that we have in the military, and it's not the places that you go, it's the people that you meet along the
Mm.
way. So, I have been as far as Japan, Okinawa, Japan, and absolutely loved it. Loved learning the culture, eating the food. I still tried to make it today. Um, and one of the unpopular places that you would hear most military people say would be Cannon Air Force Base in Clovis, New Mexico. We absolutely loved it there. And that is just because the community and the friends that we had. So it really is about the people that you surround yourself with and the attitude that you have, because you can make a place miserable or you can make it the best that you can. And so we have tried to make every place that we go the best that we can.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, I think that was instilled in us, just
Mm-hmm.
being born and raised in the military, and home is in your heart. and you make the best of where you're at. Because, I know when we're stationed in Germany at one point, the second time around, it was not a place, like you said, that it was a popular place to be.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm like, you know what? It's all about how you make it. And, I was there during 9/11 and there was a lot of lockdowns, but I still made the best of it.
Right.
I had some really great friends. Actually, somebody from here was stationed over there at the same time. So, it is a small world, and it is all about what you make of it.
And appreciating the small things, because as you know, I had just mentioned this when we came home for Christmas. I absolutely love the smell of roquette. Love it. And so, I mean, because it just reminds me of home, and it brings back all those loving memories that I've had. It ties to my grandmother, or to our grandmother. So I love that smell. If there's anybody out there that can bottle that or make that into a candle, I would probably buy a case of it. My kids would hate me because they do not understand why, but I do love that smell.
Yeah, after moving back here, I don't smell it as often, but every once in a while I will get a whiff of it. And it also, for me, even though I'm living here, it triggers that memory of childhood. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. That's so funny. Well, one of the reasons, and I guess this just really ties into what, the reason why I asked you to come on here is you have met lots of people over the years and they're living all over the world. And I think that's probably what's helped support you in this new journey, because you've been in the banking world for many, many years, banking or retail.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're on a new journey that's really exciting and it has some really great purpose.
Correct.
So, can you tell us a little bit about that?
I would love to tell you about that. So you are correct. Working that banking industry and not being able to spend time, you hear people say the banking hours, 9 to 5, cushy hours, but it's a little bit more than that. You don't see a lot of the behind the scenes. And so there would be late nights and time away from family. So it's almost been a year. I mean, I have left the industry and I've decided to venture out on my own. And what I am doing is now working for a company called Unique. um, I'm not actually working for them, but I'm an independent presenter for Unique. And if you don't know what Unique is, or what you probably know Unique as, and I'm just going to grab it because this is what everybody knows.
Foundation.
Yes,
Yeah.
everybody knows us by this. This is our 4D mascara. And so I now work for them, or as an independent presenter. I keep saying work for them. I don't work for them. I'm an independent presenter. But I want to tell you a little bit deeper about them, that it's not just about makeup, skincare, and now collagen. There is a deeper there is actually a deeper purpose behind this company. And I hope that you can bear with me for a moment while I tell you the story. It all started with our CEO, Derek Maxfield. Him and his wife met in church and 3 months later got married. And there is a reason why I tell you this backstory. 5 months after being married, he came down with an illness. He had been traveling and ended up with a parasite that was going to require him to have a surgery and be in hospital. So he went in and he was talking to the nurse, and she was like, "Oh, we're going to start you on chemotherapy tomorrow." And he was like, "What? I think you have the wrong person. I'm here for a parasite." And she's like, went down everything and was like, "No, I mean, this is you have leukemia."
Oh, wow.
So this was you go in for a simple procedure as far as like just getting rid of a parasite, and you find out that you have this disease. And so he had to call his mom or his wife and let her know. I mean, they've been married for 5 months. So this just really turned their world upside down.
Mm-hmm.
So he was in the hospital for leukemia for 4.5 months. I have to look at my notes because I want to make sure that I tell you the correct. He was in the hospital for 4.5 months. And 4 months, 1 day. Sorry. And during that time, he met this guy named Greg Johnson. And him and Greg Johnson became really good friends because, as like I had mentioned with our relationship, Derek had been there first and Greg got there afterwards. So Greg looked to him for the guidance of, what is happening next? What happens next?
Right.
So they built this relationship, and Derek responded positively to the chemo. His friend Greg did not. And so he had begged with Greg, please make it up to the floor one more time. Just do this for me. And his friend looked at him and said, Derek, I'm okay. You go live your life for us and do something great. So he made this promise to his friend Greg that he was going to do something great. But as we all make these promises, dear God, please, if you let me do this, we make these promises and then we think we have the whole world and all the time to do it. And that's what he thought. He's like, he was a stutterer. He's like, I am not the person to make great things happen. And I've got time to do that. So he went on with his life. He was a computer programmer, and his office was really big around basketball. He said when he did his interview, like it was all around basketball. Like, okay, this is really weird. Like, are you good at basketball? We've got this basketball team, and he's a tall dude. So, so one day at practice, him and his boss both went up for the ball, and when they came down, they hit heads. And when they hit heads, it cracked his orbital. He said he could push his eye in. It was bad.
Wow.
He ended up at the hospital in the same room as Greg's room.
Oh, wow.
He said when he woke up from the surgery to fix his eye, he was kind of disillusioned as to where he was. He knew like it wasn't back then, but yet there were still all those memories,
Sure.
As we were just talking about, like those sounds, those smells, all of that kind of came back to him. And he's like, this isn't the same. And he said, he's like, exactly. You're in this exact same place, but what have you done? So he said at that point, he had to live up to his promise. And he started a software company, and he worked on that for the next 2 years. He developed this software company. It's actually called Next Step, and this happened in 2004. And then in 2010, he sold that business. And he said he was set up. Him and his family were set up, but he still didn't feel like he was doing something great. Him and his wife had this mutual friend, this woman who had gone through child sex abuse. And they were talking to her one day, and she just relayed to them the guilt that she had felt with being abused as a child. And he said to his wife, like, why does she carry the guilt that's for something that somebody else did? And why isn't anybody doing anything about it? So they decided this was it. This was the big thing that they were going to do. They were going to build a company, a party company, direct sales, that were going to fund this foundation to help women of child sexual abuse. So that's how the Sapria has come around. So in 2012, Unique was established. It's a family business. Him and his sister actually went in together and created this makeup company, makeup, skincare. And after 2 years of this company, they were able to open up Sapria. So Sapria is a nonprofit organization. Yes. And they use 10% of all of our products sold to help fund Sapria and the retreats. Let's see. There is so much to talk about, Sapria. Do you have any following questions? I know that was a long story about Derek and how this started.
Yeah, no, I had no idea. I knew that they supported sex abuse in children, but I didn't know that other, the back end story
Right.
of how it got to there. So I don't know if you saw my eyes started tearing up there a little bit.
Yeah. And we've have family history of leukemia. So, knowing that it did hit a little chord with me as well, to know that he went through that and has survived. Whereas, we had our step cousin who didn't survive leukemia. So there was that connection there for me. Fortunate for me, I don't have anybody in my family that I'm aware of that has gone through child sexual abuse. It is one of those taboo things where people don't come forward and they don't speak about it. And so what Sapria has done is they have created a retreat. There is actually 2 locations, one in Utah and one in Georgia, where it's a 4-day retreat that women that have been sexually abused as a child can go to. And they learn all kinds of things. There's education that they learn. They enjoy experiences like yoga, art journaling, mindfulness. They build a community with other sexual abuse survivors. And then also they have personal time to reflect, to rejuvenate, because you can imagine if you've got that kind of energy coming at you at 4 days, you're going to need some downtime.
Sure.
So that's what they do at the resort. But this company actually goes further. And this is the part that excites me when I was doing my research. They actually help prevent child sexual abuse. How does that happen, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, how?
Yeah. So you can actually go to the website, sapria.org, and there is resources to talk to your children about just sex in general. Like, we all worry about that sex talk that we're going to have.
Yeah, it's like the taboo.
Yes, and we're all nervous about it. I mean, and our kids are like, oh, come on, really?
Mm-hmm.
There's resources there for you to have that talk with them. There's actually a resource that goes through age by age as to what is appropriate for kids to be doing at that time. So if you're worried about like, they're starting to flirt with girls now, like, is that normal? It
Right.
has that information for you. So that is where we prevent with our parenting, but there's also a community involvement where you can become an educator and you can have classes with your community. So I was just so blown away by everything that you can get through this company.
And so that is all through Sapria. If they go to sapria.org, then they can find out how to get those resources and even become a trainer per
Correct. Se. Yes, there you can donate there if you feel compelled to donate to the cause. You can get your resources as a parent. You can get your resources to teach your community, and then of course you can come to your local unique presenter. Because again, 10% of our sales go to Sapria. So not only are you helping me, you're helping somebody who's been sexually abused. So I mean, it's a win unfortunately, I say a win because for that young person that was sexually abused, that is not a win. But
No.
we need to get them the help that they need. But we can also help prevent it from happening. Did you know that 1 in 4 women are sexually abused by the time that they're 18? And 1 in 5 children, 1 in 5 children, 1 in 4 girls.
Yes, unfortunately, I am aware of those statistics. With some other organizations that I've been involved with on trauma from, not only sex abuse, but domestic abuse and violence as well.
Right.
Yeah, it's really sad to think about those numbers.
Right. And one last thing about Sapria is that another reason why they decided to create this foundation is that they did see a lot of help for the initial, the traumatic at the beginning. There is
Mhm.
that there for those, but they didn't see anything for adults, for those that are coping with it, but still living with it.
Right,
So that's more what the retreat is about. It's for those that, they can live a day to day life, but there's still that deep down, I need help.
right, right. Wow, that's a lot to take in.
I'm telling you, I was so amazed just by reading everything. And, I think that's important when you're working for a company or working and representing that company, that you do know what you're standing up for and to be proud of what you're standing up for. So,
Yeah, right. Because I think a lot of times people don't look at that, and it really puts a purpose, puts meaning into
mhm.
why you chose that particular company.
Right, right.
Now, switching gears a little bit, because I think that that's some great information and definitely recommend people to go to the website, check it out. And, when we're done with this, I'll ask you to go in and put your links, how people can contact you,
Correct.
how they can order, makeup from you or skincare or the collagen. But also, if you could put the links to Sapria in there as well, that would
Of
be
course.
great.
Absolutely.
So, since it is a makeup line or skincare line, as we're coming to the end of this, I would love to hear just a few tips, whether it's makeup or skincare.
So, my bigger passion is about the skincare. I mean, we all want to look beautiful, and it all starts with our skin. We're
Mhm.
all looking for that fountain of youth, and it all starts with our skin. I am not a makeup artist. I struggle. I even went to modeling class, and I still couldn't figure out how to do makeup. So, that part is fun, trying different things out. But skincare is very important. Going to bed without taking your makeup off ages you more than anything. You want to make sure that you're wearing your sunscreen, because that will also age you. And unfortunately, we do not sell an SPF line. So there's great ones out there. We do have a what we call the BB cream, and that does have some natural sunscreen in it. So there is some there, but take care of your skin. That is the number one tip. Take care of your skin. Know your skin type. Um, and all of our makeup does have some kind of skincare in it. So I think that that's important as well, that we just kind of carry it over. But you take care of your skin, and the need to wear so much makeup, it won't be there. You'll have your natural beauty.
Right. Yeah,
Mm.
because our skin is our largest organ of our body.
Yes, it is.
And so it's important to take care of it and what you put on your skin too, because we absorb it.
Yes, what is 20 seconds that something is on your skin and it enters your bloodstream. So,
Right.
and we know that from other things. But yeah, I'm very conscious about, what I do put on my skin, wanting to have more natural things on my skin. And I feel like Unique does that.
Great. So, is there anything that you haven't talked about that you would like to share with us before we close?
I would just say that, you can go to sapria.org and donate if your heart feels compelled to do that. If you would like to, do what I do and join, I'd be happy to have you. Like I said, this tube, you can, for just a small amount of money, you get this tube and you get me. But yeah, it's $31 for this tube, and if we take 10%, $3 of that goes to help a child of sexual abuse. So when you look at it that way, this little tube is saving lives.
And you're priceless.
Oh yeah.
Having Lisa as a resource is priceless. And, she is such a motivator and a cheerleader to, to help you fulfill your goals. So, yeah, it's a win-win working with her. So, you definitely do not want to miss up that opportunity. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Time out of your morning. And, we look forward to you all joining in on Community Coffee. We've got such a wonderful lineup every Sunday at 9:30 Central Standard Time. And I can't wait to introduce my next guest to you. So thank you again for joining in, and you have a wonderful week.